guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
Welcome back to the Hishaku Hideout, a weekly podcast where we talk about the latest chapter and everything Kagurabachi. I'm here with Dice.
What's up, guys?
And as a special guest, we have Alonz with us.
Yo, what's good?
Today we're talking about chapter 119, a banger chapter, of course. Alonz, what'd you think of the chapter? I mean, it was a pretty heavy one, you know, a lot of lore in it, but it was a gas, right?
Oh my god, bro. Just Hokuzono's pen game is insane. I don't know where he's coming up with this stuff, but I feel like from reading this chapter, and like the last one as well, you can tell from reading it, he has such a clear direction. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what the end goal is for this flashback, like, and all the lore and stuff. He's already planned it out. You can tell. He knows exactly what he's doing. And I feel like he's just teasing us by, like, every week, it's, Hokuzono, bro, I know what you're doing. I know you have a vision. Just tell me what it is already. He just gets you on the edge of your seat. It's so good.
Yeah, it's like the questions he's answering, he then follows up with, like, a new mystery about them. Or, you know, something that always, like, entices the weekly experience.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of information that he's delivering, like, and at the pace that he's doing it is just fucking crazy. Like, I really didn't think after how much information we got on the Mikaboshi last chapter that we would kind of continue on the same route. And, like, we all had these questions about, like, where does the Datanseki come from? What is the relation between it and the people from Shikoku? And, like, he just, like, front loads this chapter with, like, those answers, just, like, not even holding back. And Tiberius, it is like you say, like, every time that he gives his answers, or, like, it only raises more questions. But it is also, like what Alonzo is saying, it just kind of proves that he has so much of this, if not all, like, already planned out and mapped out. It's crazy, man. I thought this chapter was an absolute banger.
His outlining has to be pretty much insane, and, like, you know, to align, like what Alonzo's saying, that I feel like he knows exactly how long this flashback arc's gonna be.
Yeah.
And he knows, like, what points he's dropping what information. Like, he's got this, like, figured out, because, you know, we haven't even started the actual war yet, but we've gotten a lot, you know, more of a lot better idea, of, like, the players in the war, and, you know, the precursor of the war, like, all these events happening. Chiaki, for instance, like, you know, 2 years prior to this, there's like a lot of you know, a lot of things happened in the timeline that, you know, we don't know if it's like a fate thing, or if there's, like, an inciting incident to kind of springboard all these, like, developments.
Yeah, crazy. That's just absolutely ridiculous, man. I mean, the way this chapter kicks off in itself, right, with, like, the people that were being, the Mikaboshi that were being chased out of Japan by the Soga clan, you know, encountering this rock, and just desperately they prayed and prayed and prayed, while this guy Ukizane Soga like, was just absolutely slaying them. It is crazy. And again, it's like Hokuzono isn't holding back in terms of how he's framing, like you said, Tiberius, the fact that we're, like, 7 chapters in now, and we still haven't really gotten to, like, the actual war as we know it.
Yeah.
It just, like, it really speaks, like, to his vision for this whole thing. And I even said in my last video how, like, at this point it's starting to feel like the war itself really just kind of has to fill in certain gaps, because the way he continues to frame it, and, like, the backdrop of, like, this now, like, 1,000-year-old rivalry between the Soga clan and the Mikaboshi, and, like, how that plays into things. And, you know, this whole, like, stone that they encounter that obviously we come to know as Datanseki, there are still questions, right? Because, like, we're told that they were chased into this island where they took refuge, and this is where they fought this is where they encountered, the Datanseki. And it's still weird, because me and Tiberius were talking about this earlier today, of, like, well, like, what island is it, right? And, like, it couldn't have been, like, super close to where they were in Japan, because this rock hadn't been encountered before, but also, like, it can't be that far, because this is where, like, the Mikaboshi were kind of chased into. And I know that's like not like neither here nor there, but it still kind of raises the question of like what exactly is up with Datanseki. And at this point, we might not really get the answer like to that specifically, just because there's other things like in terms of like its impact on the people from Shikoku and how it is that they were able to survive, which is like another thing that we were really wondering about. There's already like a lot here, but it's just crazy, man. I'm really in awe.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, part of me wonders, the Ukizane guy, like, how much of this is, like we were saying earlier, like Attack on Titan-y, where this is a story that has sort of been conjured up. You know, like, what's he called in Attack on Titan? Helos, right? That whole story. And it's a fabrication of the actual events, right? And how much of it is the reality of there is, like, only Hokuzono can write a story where we spend 100 chapters waiting for the flashbacks of the Seitei, literally since chapter 6 when they dropped that panel of the Seitei War, right? We've been waiting for a flashback to the Seitei War. We start the actual Seitei War flashback arc, and within the first, like, what, 5 to 7 chapters of the war, we're now wanting to know about events even further back than this flashback, right? Like, only Hokuzono is pulling that off, and it's a weird situation where I'm like, we don't need to do a full backstory for it, but because of how Kagurabachi has been so far, it's like, how much of that can I even trust? How much can I even take at face value? Because I feel like both sides have an insane bias in this game, right? Like, we've heard it from Japan's side, we've heard it from the Sorcerer side, we've heard it from, like, the Hishaku side, to an extent. We've heard it to the Soga, like, what is the truth of this world's history? And it's so, at this point, it's like, I don't even know what to believe, you know?
Because like that old style art piece like does like depict, you know, it's a like racist caricature of like, the Mikaboshi, but then, you know, like we're not sure if they are depicted that way because they actually were like ruling by force, you know, and they're, you know, that's why they were depicted that way, or if it's or if it was just made to like make the Soga look better, you know, it was commissioned by the Soga, but like it is one of those things that, you know, as you said, we won't get like an in-depth backstory, but knowing the actual events would be nice to just kind of clear up some confusion. But I mean, maybe like the through point is like there is no right side, you know, there is no you know, one good side. But like the thing that I kind of always like think about is we're not sure how sorcery was like being used 1,000 years ago, like with the general public, but we do know with the Soga in charge, they basically made sure that sorcerers were not using the general public, you know, in sorcery affairs. Like the Rakuzaichi didn't include innocent civilians, but we know in the present timeline the Rakuzaichi did have seemingly like normal people being auctioned. Mr. Nazuma's sister, you know, they don't seem like to have a connection in sorcery, but like the Rakuzaichi during the Soga most likely did not include regular citizens. So it's what makes me think that even if the Soga were flawed, they did hold up this agreement, and that all sorcerers did abide by. Because after the war, it does seem like the Soga princess is not there. The Soga, you know, we're not sure exactly what happened to the whole clan, but we do know what happens to Yura and his wife. You know what I mean? That's right after the war.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird you mentioned Yura, because I feel like he's the only piece of this at the moment where, because, you know, we have the guy with the bloody eye holding his hat in his left hand under the pine tree, and it's like, okay, we get it, Hokuzono. You're trying to tell us this is probably maybe Hishaku. Cool, right? He has the motive. Well, even if it's not, the point is like Yura as the head of, or the supposed head of the Hishaku, is sort of what I always thought to be the main antagonist of the series, but it's like, how does he even play into this? You know, like, we haven't started the conflict yet. Yura is something that happens post-conflict. We're before the conflict. How the hell
like
do we even get there?
Yeah, like the fallout.
it's a ridiculous series of events that is, I feel like when we finally get to the climax of this is how the all-out but like battlefield kind of war starts. It's going to be like an insane start for like the dominoes falling, which inevitably leads to Yura becoming, you know, or like bringing together the Hishaku, which I feel like is going to be a massive kind of moment for the series when we see how. I would not be surprised if this flashback sort of concludes or climaxes with the formation of the Hishaku being established in the flashback. And then that's how we transition back, you know?
You know, like one thing, like with you, the part one, like Yura being the big bad of part one, like up to a certain point at least. You know, we see Sojo, who is a great villain. You know, we just talked about Sojo in our Redux Volume 2 episode. And, you know, he has a very short stint in the series. Like, he's only around for like 12 to like 13 chapters total. Yeah. But he's made like a long-lasting impact. But he was just, you know, being used by Yura. Then we have Kiora Sazanami, another, you know, short stint villain that's, you know, really well done in execution, being used by Yura. Yura seems to be this like puppet master to like the ends justify the means for the overall safety of Japan. But now it's looking as like he was just a means to an end himself. You know, it's like a way like the grand scale of like the villainy in Kagurabachi is way more widespread than we initially thought.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Like Yura right now, I know his goals are bigger, like long-term goals are sort of bigger, but right now Yura feels small, you know?
Yeah.
Like he feels like a piece of the puzzle, which is a really interesting sort of dynamic to be creating in the series. He played
his role so well too.
Yeah, like it's
he
very
acted like
convincing.
The final villain.
Yeah, it's convincing, exactly. It's like, okay, he seems like the big problem, but when you see the full scale of things, it's like there's so much to it. You know, just more than Yura, and I feel like Yura will reach a point where I'm looking at him and going, okay, I can understand your actions may be unjustified, and you may be doing terrible things, but I can see what led you down this path, you know? I feel like I'm definitely going to be able to see that for him at some point, but right now, he does just feel like I'm not even reading these chapters remembering he exists. Like, it feels so far removed from the Kagurabachi I know, and I'm really looking forward to see how we slot that back into this with the context, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, Alonso, I feel that, like, that's, like, yeah, you guys are cooking, because ultimately, like, also, what Yura, like, at the height of that, you know, battle against Chihiro and Samura, what does he do? He ends up giving his body for Soga. So, like, at the end of the day, like, he is only part of something much, much bigger, right? Because Soga comes in and he just completely reshapes the story, like the status quo of modern day, and also like basically transitions us into this flashback arc. And now we're learning about, like I said, this 1,000 or over 1,000-year feud between the Mikaboshi and the Soga clan, right? And, you know, just to kind of like transition us back into the chapter, we actually find out that how, you know, what happened with the Datanseki was that the king of the Mikaboshi was able to like use the power of the Datanseki as that island was destroyed to finally create that country where the people from Shikoku could end up living safely. And it is like giving big Dune, Lisa and Al Gaib vibes, which we see kind of like
Lisa and Gabe. Lisa really and is. Gabe.
Right.
Yes,
dude. This might be our first True Realm usage. This might use the protect his entire you know, clan with this domain expansion of what looks to be wood. Or I
don't even know what it is, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, facts, Tiberius. It does look like, chronologically speaking, or I'm sorry, like in terms of timeline, right? It does look like that was the first time that Datanseki was able to resonate with these people. Yeah, and basically like create this safe haven for them. And it is just so crazy, right? Like how the king says, like the current king says, I'm here to bear witness. And I just realized that motherfucker has the Datanseki stone in his forehead.
Oh yeah,
That's
like
crazy.
that little Uzi Vert diamond that he put. That's what that is.
I hadn't realized.
That king is hilarious. That bro says, "You are Ahsoka, aren't you?" He looks disgusted to be on the same like island with Ahsoka, bro. Like that dude is not having it.
Yeah, it's just like how Soga was like, you know, how he like smells the Sazanami.
I can smell the
and
Shikoku. I can smell the Shikoku.
These people got like hate in their hearts, man. It's like what you were saying earlier, Tiberius. There really is like no absolute you know, good when it comes to these guys. They just been at it for generations. And
yeah, because like what if
This is
they're
wild.
indoctrinating like the youth to like just instinctually like, you know, hate the Soga, and now 1,000 years have, you know, to get to this point, everyone that exists within their on their island has already been kind of fed the same story. Not saying that it's, you know, that's the truth or not, but that's what kind of got us to this point of their retaliation. It's just, you know, like Alonzo was saying, you know, just hopefully we get like some clarity on that, because it'll be one of those things where the fandom is almost going to be at war with itself, trying to like pick a side. You know, you already seen it the last couple of weeks. Soga was right. I mean, even though it's not the case, but
Well, that's what I mean when I say this is. I feel like there's always been similarities, but this is the most Attack on Titan this series has ever felt.
Shingeki no Doom.
Like, it's honestly, it's. But the thing is, I say that, but I don't mean it to be. It's not meant to like diminish the series in any way, right? Like, it's not meant to be,
No.
oh, we're copying, because it's not a copy though at all.
No.
It's fundamentally like so different to Attack on Titan, but in terms of its way of storytelling and the themes.
Mm-hmm.
And even like on the nose stuff, the idea of an island separating, you know, people kind of breaking off and going to the island and then harboring hatred and like having this indoctrination kind of thing, and the mainland learning to hate them and see them as literal devils as they're depicted in that what is effectively a racist caricature is like, oh, it's so Attack on Titan, but it's so different.
It's
It's
like,
so different as well.
you're like giving like Hokuzono his flowers for being able to accomplish, you know, the presentation of these story beats. Like, should be compared to Attack on Titan is something to be like, you know,
Stand
applauded.
proud.
It's listen, Attack on Titan is my favorite show maybe ever. If I'm sitting here and saying this show is reminding me of the best thing I think I've ever watched, some people may disagree, that's fine, but for me that's an insane compliment to be able to give to a series, to say
Doctor Who is turning in his grave.
honestly, bro, it is, but like
Don't do him like that.
The moral conundrum aligned.
it's just, I don't know, man. It's just I feel like I hope the anime does well, basically, because this series has some incredible potential, and storytelling wise, Hokuzono just knows what he's doing. Ever since the beginning, he has given the impression that he knows what he's doing. Even in this flashback, there's a very good example, the whole pine tree thing, right? We don't know for sure anyone's Hishaku, but when he put that pine tree there, and they pointed out it was a pine tree, I was like, Hokuzono, I know what you're doing. Like,
Yeah,
like,
Hokuzono's in his studio kicking his feet, giggling. He's like,
it's so deliberate. He knows full well. He knows how to play mind games with his readers, and that's what ultimately makes the really like exciting story parts of the stories, if that makes sense. You know, like when they really know how to get you on the edge of your seat waiting weekly. And I feel like he really has mastered weekly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like a while back, I made a video about like the greatest aspect of Kagurabachi is like the weekly experience.
Yeah.
Because the art stand, you know, speaks for itself. But like the weekly experience, you know, it's something that's, you know, hard to do because, you know, like you could be invested in a story and then just accept that there's going to be like chapters that have a lull, like, you know, slower moments that it's building. But Kagurabachi, for me, like, I think he's been on a very consistent run of like, you know, just being excited for what's next. Always looking forward to not what's in the future, but next week. You know, we don't need to wait on these big reveals because there's little moments spread throughout that excites us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, you guys are cooking, and like this whole chapter itself is just insane cookage as well. We do see that like after the.
Did you just create a new term, cookage?
No, that's been around.
Kagurabachi, the manga of cookage.
Cookage.
Yeah. I've seen that around. Just had to. I thought it was appropriate.
And now he regrets it. Don't come here trying to look Max on us, bro.
No, but
trying
I
to be
mean,
all hip.
but like this chapter, man, I guess it deserves such term, man, because like we see how Aryu, we finally get his name, literally Aryu Mikaboshi. I thought it is funny that Mikaboshi is they still have that last name. I wonder if he's like a direct descendant or like anything like that. Maybe it's not really relevant.
I think they say that he has like the pure blood of like the Mikaboshi. So
like the six of them, right? Like the six.
Yeah. So like
True.
it's required for them to. Which I mean, we'll talk about that later, but it does seemingly the rest of their like the bloodline might have diluted a bit, but he might be from actual like the royalty lineage.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about this crazy panel where we see like he's sitting on the couch, but the reflection of the beach has him like putting a hole through Mashiro's torso or lower abdomen. Should I say? And Yoshinojo, like we talked about, like that dude does not wipe the smirk off his damn face, even though he's sweating, which I thought is crazy. And yeah, like Mashiro's sorcery can't do shit to that guy. Like he's still able to move and whatnot, and Shiba like teleports him to a whole nother place, and they're trying to gang up on him, and that's where we get to like even more lore. This time on the Soga clan, and it's Sorcery Kurotsuchi.
Ooh, Hiroto, my dead goat.
Right. I don't know what does Kurotsuchi mean. I need to like Kurotsuchi. I'm literally gonna research right now.
Something with like land. I know there's Kurotsuchi is like I think the name of the Tsuchikage from Naruto, the daughter, the one like the Boruto Tsuchikage.
I know what you mean.
Kurotsuchi.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with that.
Yeah, it does mean like
their jutsu.
Oh, literally means like the literal translation is black soil or black earth, which is very fitting.
Yeah, Kuro.
Japanese Tiberius, look at that.
Yeah. Ni hao, fine shit. That's how ni hao.
I'm talk Chinese.
I was gonna say, I don't think that's right.
That isn't. The first meme I thought of when you said that was the white guy that's
yeah,
like that guy,
Japanese,
and then I thought of
bro.
the cat with the Ni hao, fine shit.
Oh, that's funny. No, but we do find out that seems to be like obviously the gift. The gift of prophecy is stated to be passed down through certain female descendants. And then this time around, this is what seems to be passed down through specific male descendants. And the sorcery demands exceptionally advanced physical skills developed through extreme physical conditioning and swordplay, it states. And we see Aryu's expression when he sees that this is the exact same sorcery that
ain't this some bullshit?
That the former clan head Ukizane, that's what he used to basically destroy the island. Which, when now thinking about it, when you see Hiroto, which is stated to be the only living practitioner of this sorcery, when he uses it on Aryu, it does kind of look very similar to how the island was destroyed in those small ukiyo-e paintings that we get this chapter. So I thought that was very interesting.
So Hiroto's the true sword saint, is what we're saying.
Oh my god.
Akamura don't know Kurotsuchi.
I mean, it seems like it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
There's also the thing that he only put a dent into that island and he didn't destroy Hiroshima.
I mean, it does seem like it's a maybe like it could just be straight up earthbending, but it does seem like it could be gravity related, the way that he's created that crater, which is, he's got the black orb behind him. I can't help but wonder, was Magatsumi maybe just the because they've been at odds for so long, was the reason the Magatsumi is so OP, because Kunishige found a way to merge the Soga Sorcery with the Mikaboshi Datsenseki. Because you've got the black sort of energy of the Soga mixed with the insect kind of abilities from the Mikaboshi, and it did just immediately make me think, like, have we merged the two into one? Like, the two opposing forces that have been clashing for 1,000 years had this insane conflict that Kunishige took and smashed together in a sword and was like, here, this is the nuke to end all nukes.
Take this shit. Here, take this shit.
Like, it's...
And, you know, like, what's funny, too, is because we also see, like, Aryu at the end, his centipede is white. So
yeah, true.
So that white centipede with a black orb. You know?
Yeah, I get you.
Cook.
But
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's why
cookage.
because realistically though, if the Magatsumi like was just here, I'm gonna give you an enchanted blade with the power of the islanders, then it wouldn't be as unbelievably OP as it was. But this was a sword that could absolutely decimate everyone that came out. Like, all the Mikaboshi wiped out by the Magatsumi, right?
He's like, we want them to remember Soga Clan again.
It only makes sense to me if it's a merger of both. Like, you pour in some Soga and you pour in some Mikaboshi and you get the Magatsumi. That makes complete sense to me. And it's almost symbolic of, like, how to resolve the conflict, right? It's like, you have to have harmony.
Nice.
And, you know, we also get like that there's 6 guardians chosen from pure blood Mikaboshi, right? And there's 6 enchanted blades. I'm sure everyone made this connection. And it'll be interesting to see if these 6 guardians all have like a certain aspect of an enchanted blade, you know, to like
the second we see some lightning, bro.
Hibiki versus the lightning bug user of Mikaboshi, and
you say that, but you know that, bro, that could be full well what Hokuzono's cooking up as well. You might see that, you never know. But this is exactly what I wanted. When we go into the Seitei War, what I was really looking forward to was the idea of having like, okay, cool, you have sorcerers like Shiba, Azami, Ichiki, whatever, that fight in the war. You also have the Enchanted Blade wielders, cool. But I never liked the idea that we might just do the war as us versus an army, as opposed to having actual characters with names and motives and unique abilities that we can actually have matchups against. Because I feel like deliberate matchups is what creates stakes in a fight, right? I never believe a character that I like is going to die to someone we don't know. You know, just like a random fodder in the war. That's not going to get me invested. Yeah, so like one of those, introducing Aryu, introducing those 6 kind of pillars of the Mikaboshi, right? That to me is screaming when we enter the war. These are characters we can throw into the war and have like number 4. This guy, whatever his name is, whatever his sorcery is, comes across Seichi Samura. And that's when the Phoenix comes out on the battlefield, and like they're the perfect reason to give these characters in the present time more weight to them. Have Ichiki. You know, Ichiki has nothing, realistically. He has existence in the main story, but he has nothing going for him as a character individually. We know nothing about him, right? Even just the ability to say, throw Ichiki onto the battlefield and have him go toe-to-toe with one of the generals of the Datsenseki. Have him lose for all I care. I don't give a crap, right? Just make it a kind of... Obviously, this is a pretty out there example. I'm not saying it has to go down like this. But the idea of being able to say, throw this character we already know against someone with actual substance to them on the other side. And you can kind of build a lot in this short flashback, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's entertaining, but it also, it's
you
good.
see like the first like battles of them trying to like repel this the Mikaboshi forces and lose. You see all their like 6 generals or whatever they're gonna be called, basically be enchanted blades for them, for the, you know, Mikaboshi, basically just decimate the Japanese forces to the point where Kunishige has to, you know, basically come up with a solution, or, you know, eventually cook these swords up, find the people that match the swords, you know, that fit the swords that as he like views them, and then we get like the individual like 1v1s, the 6 1v1s,
Yeah.
and that basically is what's going to turn the tide of the war, because while they fight those, the regular, like I call them the Datanseki Durag forces, you know, the royal, the guard, the king's guards, like we know that those dudes are nothing to like scoff at either, because each of them were like giving the rest of the group like a run for their money. You know, like, yeah, they won,
Yeah.
sure, like, but like Mashiro is included in this group of, you know, strong like fighters, elite fighting group, and Mashiro kind of, you know, Mashiro's not getting wins like that, you know, if he had to like worry about, you know, going one after another, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Those like you know, when the EBs hit the scene and they have to go up against 1v1 those other 6.
But yeah, the idea of like, because obviously the idea is that they stalemated, roughly, kind of. Once we introduced 5 Enchanted Blades, it became more of a war instead of, you know, one side dominating the other. Magatsumi then pushed it right in Japan's favor, but before Magatsumi came out, you have, what, Tobimune, Kurigumo, Kumiyuri, and whatever the other ones are, right? You have that lot in an actual conflict, which is weird because in current time, unless they're against another Enchanted Blade, which in the war they weren't, they don't actually like. They're not
Yeah, like
contested.
how are they just stalemating?
You know?
How are they just stalemating with 5 of those?
So the
like,
idea that
crazy
like,
blades?
if Samura's Tobimune came up against one of those, I'm just gonna call them generals. I don't know what to call them. The general guys of the Danseki, those 6 guardians. That's it. That's the word they use. The guardians. Yeah.
The pure bloods. Don't say that. That sounds.
I mean,
Yeah,
that is what it
The
says.
damn
To be
pure
fair.
Damn pure blood.
But like the fact that Tobimune could come across one of those, and like Tobimune has utility, but it doesn't necessarily have the same intense firepower as some of the enchant. I know that's ironic because fire, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have the like destructive capacity. So he might actually end up having a fight, like a proper fight. Kuguri's a high level Hishaku sorcerer, and there's just no point. He says there's no point even trying to fight Samura. It's a waste of time, right? But the fact that we could see someone like that pull up to actually fight someone who can not get no-defed by an Enchanted Blade is interesting. It's just an interesting idea with the way Hokuzono's built it up, that he's trained us to believe Enchanted Blades are so uncontestable that when it finally happens, it's like, it's so shocking and it's great. It's a great ability to be able to do that, you know?
And now we have like backing on why that, you know, they were able to be contested. And as your point earlier, like there's more substance in the fights now, like seeing them hit the scene. Maybe it might come down to like having to see 2 Enchanted Blade wielders go up against, you know, we don't know how strong these guys truly are, because I mean, even Ryu here, he hasn't gone all out yet. You know what I mean? We don't know just how crazy they will be, but I'm assuming because it's 6, he'll probably be like the head guy, and the other 5 will fight the other 5 blades. And then when So Akamura comes to play, it's you know, we know what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's the way it's being framed now. I think it's, you know, kind of like what you were saying, Alonso. I do like that Ryu now seems to be like this arc's big bad. Like he almost certainly is gonna be the, you know, the one that they take down last, and it's probably gonna be Soga. And I'm very interested in like what that conversation is gonna look like, right? Both descendants from, again, this age-old feud, and like now finishing things once and for all. And Tiberius, you were talking about like the Datanseki you know, Durag forces, and you know, we get like the whole you know, the fact that they are like very much in tune with the true realm. And you know, speaking of like these matchups, like that's how we can kind of like imagine that these matchups are going to be like something crazy, because we haven't, like, besides what we've seen from the Enchanted Blades, right? Like Soga and Samura, Sojo and Chihiro, we've seen like a little bit of like that, like 2 opposite sides kind of tapping into the true realm. We're about to get like a whole new take on that, right? With like the way that the Mikaboshi access the true realm. And I mean, shit, like these guys that got their head chopped off, like we see that they're still talking, like we must not allow the enemy to seize the stone they promised. And that's like when we transition to like this whole Kadoku ritual that Aryu goes through, and we find out about the 6 guardians. And like it really does seem like, or it doesn't seem like, it's flat out stated, and we see it, how the Datsenseki really answers to their prayers, right? So seeing like our side of, you know, the sword bearers kind of tapping into the true realm through the enchanted blades, versus how these guys are able to tap into the true realm through raw Datsenseki, is going to be very interesting, because I can only imagine like what sort of stuff. I mean, if the King Mikaboshi was able to build a whole country underwater so his people could survive, and these people literally pray to this rock like it is their god, like you can only imagine that their true realm is gonna go crazy. I mean, what we've seen from the true realm for somebody like, say, Samura and Soga, they've had like years and years and years with, you know, being able to master their connection to the enchanted blade. These people have had like a whole lifetime, like whole generations of doing so. So it's just going to be crazy to see how that true realm versus true realm takes shape in these matchups.
And it's crazy because it says like the guardians can draw upon the true realm of the Datsenseki. It almost like the only like sword bearer that like kind of is talked about in that fashion is Akamura.
Yeah.
You know, where like they kind of, it's like they live in the true realm. Like the true realm is their the capital. The true realm is their home,
where the sword saint resides. True.
You know, and the sword saint's the, you know, Akamura's the, well, Hiroto's the sword saint. Chill out first off.
Oh my god.
Second, now let me chill. But Akamura, you know, like he's the one who can draw upon this power like at will almost. And it's just crazy think of like, you know, these guardians, they kind of, which makes me think that they're like really built different, to where it's gonna be interesting to see them once we do get to the points of their fights, like their like full fights, and how does, you know, our forces deal with them. You know, if they can, you know, if this malleable or this like beyond a theoretical true realm and what exactly they can accomplish. You know, they literally survived, you know, the getting their island destroyed from underneath them. And you know, that's something interesting to be said, because the original king, he was pushed back. He did run to the other island. Now we don't know what his prayers actually were, but you know, it does seem like he did focus on trying to save his like clan, at least. I mean, now like we see these guardians kind of just decide to aura farm for the gang, you know, floating up to the top. I want to see like their individual personalities. Yeah, I want to see how they, you know, I want to see if they all kind of just have the same exact like kind of feel or vibe about them, or if they do have, you know, individual personalities. And you know, one other thing is like, I want to see how Shiba feels about like the Mikaboshi.
True.
You know, we don't really get much of his like inner monologue or anything about like the actual opponents from the war. We just know he doesn't want to, you know, see death. We know he doesn't want to see any more people lose their life.
Yeah, I think Shiba is, honestly, he is very clearly, since the first chapter of this flashback, Hokuzono's chosen him to kind of be the center point. He's like the glue that's connecting everything together in a way. So I feel like his reaction and his part in the coming events and just the lore in general is going to be very crucial, not just to his character, which I feel like his character is important in itself, like in isolation. How he executes Shiba is a very crucial thing, but just to the story as a whole, I do feel like Shiba is already set up to be a big part of that. And I think the reason we've chosen to follow him in this flashback is because of how he ties in with everyone. And like I said, as I was theorizing, I don't know how on board you guys are with the idea that the man who lost his eye in this chapter is Hishaku. But if that is the case, you know, like what I said before, the idea that he disappeared right before Shiba could see him and is always kind of laying low is because of all the Hishaku members. That guy would be the most recognizable, especially by someone like Shiba, who has literally seen him and knows about the eye injury and all that shit, right? So I feel like Shiba really is the kind of Kunishige
hinge
wasn't
point.
on the Kunishige wasn't on the battlefield necessarily, you know. Shiba
That's a
is
good
the
point.
common denominator in everything. Everything.
Yeah.
We now have ties to the Hishaku, we have ties to the Seitei War, to the Mikaboshi First Hand, to the war, to the Kamanabi. Like, Shiba is tied to every single aspect of the story, so I feel like what Hokuzono decides to do with him is so crucial.
Yeah, because like when Shiba tells like Kunishige, nah, bro, you're gonna have to make something crazy for this.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to make something crazy. Like, look, I know
Trust
they're
me.
telling you, I know the Soga's gonna tell you that you need to make some nukes, but look, I'm telling you, you might want to make some nukes. Probably
it needs
about
to be
6
a
of them.
nuke, like a proper nuke. Yeah.
Like you know that dude Hiroto, that dude who's built different. This generation Sword Saint, he just got cooked, no
You
diff.
got smoked, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah, exactly.
that's wild. That's wild, man. We're about to see some crazy stuff in the following chapters. I'm so sure of it. I'm so
I
sure.
really.
Like,
No, go on.
no. You,
I was gonna say, like, I hope Hiroto and Yoshinojo, whoever his name is.
Yeah.
I really hope they don't die too soon. Like, they might just be dead next chapter, to be honest. I would not be surprised at all. Because how dare Hokuzono waste such incredible and awesome designs and characters on what is effectively going to be a tiny little portion of the story. They're obviously not alive in the or going to be a big part of the main story,
Yeah.
right? So like, bro,
They could die in the
Hokuzono,
war.
it's smart. It's so smart to make a short-term character easier to invest in by making them cool as hell. But at the same time, screw you, Hokuzono, for making these
Screw
short-term characters so cool, and then
How
us
dare you
knowing.
cook so hard?
Yeah, but honestly, when it's like we know we're only getting them for a handful of chapters, oh my god, how dare you do that when this could have been someone else? Like,
I fell in love with Hiroto.
honestly, man, it's just it's messed up. I'm gonna
Yeah.
miss them.
Meanwhile, Mashiro's just there bleeding out.
Oh god, yeah.
Mashiro's like, fuck.
I'm pretty sure Hiroto is so cooked next chapter, especially
yeah,
since
that
he
guy's
has
dead.
They're
the,
making
like-
a statement out of his.
exactly
yeah.
because he has like that Soga clan sorcery, like, you know, the one that the Ukizane had when they drove them out. I think Aryu here is gonna make a strong point. He's gonna make an example out of him.
Because like I do think like Yoshinojo and Hiroto, they might both be on the like be guards for Chiaki. Maybe one of them's maybe Hiroto's the head guard. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, we know what Princess Soga means to the world, or to Japan at least, I should say. And the fact of like both of them getting cooked would then enable the clan to remove the age restriction and allow Akamura to join the guard squad for Princess Soga. And that's how he gets closer with Kunishige. Because eventually they're going to have to get back, you know, rekindle their connection. And it makes the most sense for her, like, head guard to be with her at all times, and him getting cool with Kunishige like that. And then that's how he knows to choose him for the Magatsumi.
Yeah. I mean, I do get the impression that Hiroto is kind of, with what happened to him last chapter and the attention given to him this chapter, he does seem like, of the Soga, you know, he's a different level. So
Yeah, cream of the crop.
yeah, having him next to Yoshinojo is like, Yoshinojo gives strong person vibes, cool. But even before, it was like, Shiba said, this guy is gonna cut you if you move. And it was Hiroto. And Hiroto's the one who cut his fingers off. And Hiroto's the one who sliced his neck. Hiroto's the
And
one
only
who...
practitioner.
Yeah, like, he's the only practitioner of Kurasuchi sorcery. He won his fight under the water, which is
Underwater.
literally those people's,
He's
like,
hot.
that's their
He's
home.
hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, he does the Kenpachi, like, this guy is...
Yeah.
He is,
has a tattoo
you
of his
know-
own name on his neck.
Yeah, like, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
He's
Currently...
like, bitch, if you ain't know, it's Hiroto.
Bro.
Now you know.
He's cool.
Not Soga. Akamura is a... Listen, he may be good, but I don't
He's a
think right
Hiroto
now, I
larper.
don't think he's
He's
that
a-
good, bro. I don't think he's that
He's a
good just
Hiroto
yet.
larper. That's
He's got a few years to go before he surpasses Hiroto, bro. I feel like Hiroto is that guy.
Yeah, if we see Akamura when it jumps to present time and he ends up getting a tattoo that says Akamura on his neck,
Oh, God.
we know. then we know.
Proper, bro. He is the king of LARPers after all.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't help but wonder if there were like, I mean, there had to have been, right? Most likely they were they are part of the same clan, but I do wonder if we'll ever see interactions between Hiroto and Akamura.
Yeah, I agree.
whether he
I'd
was
love that kind
somebody-
of stuff.
Yeah, whether like Akamura like looked up to him or was chasing him,
Like a
or
branch
something like
family or some shit.
Mm.
that. So
Yeah, for
But
sure.
Yeah.
incredible
I
stuff.
mean, banger chapter, gents. I mean, do y'all have anything else y'all want to talk about? I mean, we do see Sumika being used at the end.
Yeah,
with
I was
the
gonna
White
say,
Centipede.
What does that translate to? I'm gonna just look that up.
Oh, I've seen a couple
Oh, I think-
things.
I think that means like
Yeah.
residence or something like that. Like, I
Yeah.
think something about like they reside in the true realm. I think it plays onto that. Shiba looks like he's
Oh,
shitting
God.
himself.
Chiba just looks confused. Like, he doesn't
That's
know what he's
sh-
looking at.
This is like how Shiba was looking when Akamura popped out and he was on that bench, like back in the.
I'm just saying, bro.
Before the timeline.
I don't
Skip.
understand. Again, last chapter, I don't get it. All these men have, bro. I know Hiroto's got his what's it called, Kurotsuchi,
Kuratsuchi.
and these guys Mashiro and Yoshinojo have swords. Bro, Shiba took that man in the air and did what to him? Like, I don't.
I mean,
Shiba would
What'd
just.
Shiba do this chapter besides just tell her he's a delivery man?
I know, but what's he? He has to have something. I know Hokuzono's just holding on to something
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, he
Like-
gotta have like a
sorcery.
particle manipulation or
Bro,
some shit.
I know that man is busted as hell, and it scares me because
He's like Blackbeard, bro.
Like,
He's like, like
he,
off
yeah.
screen.
No, but he really does give me Minato vibes in that. Like, I know, okay, the teleportation thing, yeah, sure, but it's more so just the idea that Minato and Naruto, for me, the reason he was cool is because everyone else had like these special lineage and bloodline and eyes, and Minato was just that guy.
He's just fast.
But he was an NPC. Like, he was born in just like a normal There was nothing special about him at all, other than he was
built
just that
different.
guy. I feel like Shiba is the equivalent. He's the one who like is at that top tier, but he's just Shiba. Like, there's nothing special about him at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want to keep it that way. I don't want him to have any crazy bloodline or special like ties to anything that we know of. I just want him
Shiba's
to just
a nepo
keep being
baby.
him. No, that's what I don't want. Like, just, keep him, just let him be him.
If Shiba does get a run on site,
Oh,
you know,
that would be tough.
proclamation during the war, it's gonna make me have to like my Shiba hater is gonna throttle. And I've been actually liking Shiba a little bit more lately. Like, I almost have the apology form filled out.
Ooh, yeah, he
Almost.
is
He's
the
been saying
goat.
that for like a month now, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I only wrote my name at the top of it, but at least I took it out. Is that, you know, it exists.
I do have one last question for y'all before we get out of here, because this is something I
Yeah.
talked about in the last episode. I like, my suspicion was that what Iryu was gonna do after we saw how last chapter ended was kind of like use the dark power, you know, essentially, like, because, you know, he had his throat slashed and, you know, he was consuming life force to, you know, get a insane boost. Like, this chapter kind of like jumps over all that stuff, and we do see a lot of like the visual of like the black aura. I mean, after Aryu drinks you know, that insect
Bug juice.
yeah, insect
yeah.
juice. There is like, and as well as like the other guardians, they're all oozing, you know, that black aura. I mean, again, like, it wouldn't make sense that they're consuming any life force then and there. But also the last page, after Aryu uses Sumika, we see how like the huge crater that Hiroto had made, when you look at one panel and then you look at the one of Aryu with the white centipede, there's like that black aura again that wasn't anywhere in the previous panel. Do you guys think that the dark power is gonna factor or is a factor in any of this?
He's using white power, homie.
I mean-
Chill.
Yeah.
What do you think, Alonso?
I'm not gonna lie. I would agree with what you're saying if it wasn't for the Soga sorcery, the Kurotsuchi thing. I think that
Yeah,
for
good
me
point.
really did kind of. I'm very much in my head now, and I'm very good at convincing myself of theories. Whether they're realistic or not is a different matter. But once I kind of think about something, I struggle letting it go.
Fact.
And I
Yes,
really,
fact.
I really do feel like the black sorcery or the black energy thing is more so a like Soga thing, and that now we're sort of
Interesting,
getting
okay.
the mix of both. Yeah.
See, my like the one thing with that is like we see the Guardians can draw upon the true realm of the Datanseki, and then we get
Yeah.
you know that panel of the Datanseki stone. He might be burning up the stone itself.
True.
I'm wondering, and because we see his foot, you know, like right above, and then the black. That's when the black aura starts to spread.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's just burning the stones, you know, that, and that's why they need to get more Datanseki. You know, they need to basically make sure that they have enough, because what they pray to and all that. So if they are using it for, you know, it's been 1,000 years, and maybe that island is running dry now. Maybe that's
Yeah.
why they need to, you know, be the catalyst and create like circumstances to cultivate it in another area, which is what made them, you know, maybe that's something to play for it popping up on Hiroshima.
Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
I mean, I think they, you know, whether that is
Now,
the case or isn't, I just don't think they
like
had.
Alon's,
they wanted
I'm the
Japan to
inverse
get
of
their hands on it.
Alon's. I'm like 2 for like 40 on theories, all right? I know my accuracy's dog shit. So, you know, like, I accept it as is. I just accept it.
Yeah, I mean, the
Sounds
thing
like
about the dark power is like
delusional.
we don't know a whole lot either, so that kind of plays into the whole thing.
To be fair, it could like the dark thing could just be a generic thing to sorcery. Like the way they talk about it is the life draining thing, not the life draining thing, the life energy, and like how when you burn it up, it becomes black and stuff. Like it might just be a rule of the system in general, right? The rule of spirit energy, that kind of thing, where
See,
it sort
I
of plays
did-
into both
Yes,
a
like,
bit,
could
maybe.
Kaguri do a black energy twilight wave? Like if he poured his like life
But
into it?
Like you say that, but then think about Hakuri, for example, and the sort of like effects of that appear with his eye mask and the storehouse and stuff. Like black
think
energy
it's-
is something that's
I-
popped up a lot.
I do. I think it's like a fixture of like, you know, the you know, could be a spirit energy thing, like as well. Because me and Dice talked about that with the whole Samura thing,
Yeah,
like when that first happened against Akamura. You know, like it's more of a not just a Datanseki thing, but could be something that relates to spirit energy itself.
yeah.
and
Like when you pour your life force.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, like, I've kind of come around, around on that, because I used to think that it was something that, like you guys are saying, it was mainly like a part of the power system related to spirit energy in general. And like Alonso, you do bring up a good point about like how the Sazanami eyes, you know, they do have
Yeah.
a very similar, you know, visually speaking, like it does look very similar to that of like the dark power. But at the same time, like we've only really seen it explicitly, at least confirmed, with the Datanseki, right? Like Chihiro only did it with Cloud Gouger, right? And then Samura only did it with Magatsumi in hand. And then like obviously it doesn't seem like it was the case here, but when I originally thought that that's what Arya was doing at the end of the last chapter, again, Datanseki related. And the way it was kind of spoken about how even Kunishige couldn't fathom that realm, right? I kind of think it's Datanseki related, but of course it's
Yeah.
it's
No,
not
I
confirmed
can't see
yet.
that.
What we're
Yeah.
missing out on is the Norisaku Madoka, the Luna Sorcerer, a black energy bomb. That's what we're missing out on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but crazy
But-
chapter, man. Insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Good conversation. Thank you, Alonso, for joining us. It's been a long time. We've been trying to get this going.
Right.
You've been egoing us, you know.
But I
Nah.
finally have actually made it onto one. I'm very proud of myself for finally actually managing to pull it off and be here. I thought it was impossible. I thought fate was trying to stop it from happening or something for a while, but
Fate
no,
was toying
did
with
it.
us.
Honestly.
Nah, appreciate it, man. This was fun.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, at first I was worried about you were trying to steal Dice from me. You know, Dice popped on a couple streams. I was like, all right, Alonso.
Chill.
Nah.
He's my man.
I've just been getting my Kagurabachi streaming game up, bro. I'm preparing for the anime, that's all.
Yeah, I've been
Yes, sir.
seeing you cooking as always. We definitely gonna be eating good in the future.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Word.
we talked about having a anime only episode as well to like pair along with this one on a weekly basis, but
Oh, that
we
would
gotta
be cool
figure
as
out.
well. Just the idea that you'd be able to do that in like what, a year maybe? Oh, that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's exciting for
facts,
sure.
facts. But any final thoughts, closing statements, gentlemen?
Oh, all good from me. I think I've yapped enough.
Yeah, same here. I think we pretty much covered it.
Same. Well, appreciate everybody. Y'all have a good one. See you next week, and peace.
Peace.
All right, see you around.